The Castle Law or the Castle Doctrine and the Stand Your Ground laws are very similar, but they're subtly different. There's been a lot of confusion over the two in the last few years as these laws have spread, and that is magnified to the power of 10 in the last 2 months after the currently ongoing controversial shooting in Sanford, Florida. Perhaps the reason is the law being debated there. You want to Google Florida Statute 776.013. As written, actually encompasses 3 different concepts. Certainly the Castle Doctrine, as Clayton explained, going back to the English common law, the citizen's home is their castle, attack there, they need not retreat before using appropriate force to repel the attacker. The Stand Your Ground law is distinctly different because that covers the individual if they're assaulted in a public place. Some of the confusion has come from the fact that even some of the sponsors felt since now we'll be able to do on the street what we could do in the home, we use the term for it that we used in the home, Castle Doctrine. Muddying the waters further, that particular statute also encompasses a presumption of reasonableness. Now, just as we all have a presumption of innocence, that is, we're innocent until proven guilty, that particular law as written says the person who makes a claim of self-defense, if they can prove it is a reasonable claim of self-defense, if they can show to a preponderance of evidence standard, that is, more likely than not that they're telling the truth that it was self-defense, the case should be dismissed. This has created a great deal of ire and a great deal of controversy. I've heard the argument that, well, you shouldn't allow this because all the bad guys will say they shot their victims in self-defense and get off. Ladies and gentlemen, the bad guys have been using that excuse as long as there have been bad guys. I shot him in self-defense. Some other dude done it. I don't know a thing about it. I didn't beat him, and I'll never beat him again if you let me go. Basically, through all that time, skilled investigators and skilled prosecutors like the man at my left have torn those BS arguments apart and won the convictions as they should. What the Stand Your Ground law does is keep the innocent citizen who's telling the truth that they did shoot in self-defense from going through the kind of legal nightmare that Clayton Kramer just described to you. I've been an expert witness for the courts in shooting cases and weapons cases since the year 1979. I can point to people who, by the time they were finally acquitted, had paid 6 figures in legal fees. People who've lost their jobs, and we'll talk in a minute more, it goes beyond the financial.